Hey fragrance friends and lovers, how you doing today? What is your scent of the day? What are you smelling like and how you doing out there? Today I have the review of Oud Bleu Intense out there for you. My first fragrance de bois to share with you today. And I'm happy to share it with you. It's a beautiful fragrance, but it's not what you would expect. This is not an aquatic fragrance. This is not a blue fragrance, and that's what I thought I was getting myself into. I actually didn't sneak much of a sneak peek at the notes, so when I got this fragrance, I was quite surprised. Before we talk about the notes and what this fragrance actually smells like, you know what to do down below to support this channel. If you like fragrance content, if you like smelling amazing, if you like to learn and actually explore the world of fragrance in a full-length review, to actually understand a fragrance before you might purchase it, or maybe you just want all the details, you've come to the right place. I'm happy to help you. So first off, Oud Bleu Intense. This is an interesting one. You get some orange, you get nutmeg. Those are some of the bigger notes. Orange and nutmeg. There's some cardamom, which adds its sensual spiciness. The orange here is more of a floral, almost like a neroli. I'll waste one spray for you, even though it's a very expensive fragrance. We'll talk about the price and the value. The quality is here. The blending's here. You get some incense for sure. There's a little bit of woodiness that pops through. There's quite a bit of musk, and again some sour incense, some myrrh, some labdanum, and I think there's even a little bit of animalic styrax. Now I think that there is some oud snuck up in this fragrance, and that's one of the biggest things that people might want to know about in this fragrance. How is it animalic? Is it skanky or anything like that? This is more of a plantation style oud in this fragrance. So what that means, it's going to be more of a sour, exotic, woody smell. You're not going to get much of anything animalic, nothing at all really is animalic or dirty or gritty about this fragrance, and you're not going to get that dark, interesting complexity that some ouds have. Some feel spicy, especially the Indian variety. Some are barnyardy. This one is more of a clean fragrance, clean and pristine. But again, you're not getting anything like blue. This is not a high-end blue fragrance or sauvage-like, anything like by Roger Dove, their fragrance Elysium, which is a top seller, very popular. And I was expecting for this to be a cousin to Elysium, or a a mass appealing fragrance in one way or another. This is actually a very high end, clean, woody, floral, incensey fragrance of sorts. This is not what I was expecting. Does that make it bad because it wasn't what I expected? No. We'll talk about if the fragrance is worth it and how, if it's executed well and all that at the end of the review. But it's not. It's clean. It's something you would see or expect somebody, a very professional person, to wear. To me, this is could be a wedding fragrance. It could be a very high end office fragrance. To me, it smells like a very high end hotel in a clean way. So it doesn't go exactly soapy, but I would expect that a very high end, modern, like chic, like everything's white, kind of hotel to smell like this. And that's what this fragrance is bringing to me. And for this price, we'll talk about if it's a good value. You're probably getting a hint of what that's going to be like, what I'm going to say. So the performance on this fragrance, I have some sprayed again on my hand. And I already showed you the sprayer, I believe. I'll do one more spray. Let's do one more spray, even though it's expensive. I like the sprayer on this. It's fun to spray. It can be controlled. It's high quality. And I have it sprayed on my hand. It projects decently. It has good sillage as well. I wouldn't say it's excellent performance, but it's decent. And it's about a 7-8 hour fragrance. Lots of incense that helps this fragrance keep going on. And the floral nuances kind of die away, but really you get the performance from the incense and maybe a little musky support in the background. But really, it's mostly about the incense that really gives this fragrance a lot of longevity. Some of the styrax that does that. Again, there's myrrh, labdanum, and benzoline as well. There's actually quite a bit of incense here. So it lasts, but I'm just not. I don't know. For this kind of price, I think it's reasonable for an everyday fragrance, for something again clean and pristine. But again, if you're paying so much money for such an expensive fragrance, do you want clean and pristine, kind of simple, and the projection isn't monstrous? I don't know. We'll talk about that soon. So, but compliment factor wise, this smelled clean. This smelled fancy. This does have an air of money and class to it. I didn't know that Fragrance du Bois really pushed that luxury envelope. Kilian does it as well. They try to market themselves to a very upper class and a very well-to-do, perhaps clientique, as you would say. And that's who they're really marketing towards, that imagery of making you want to feel very expensive, high-end. And this fragrance definitely smells classy and refined. It smells like money has gone into it, but it's mostly just clean. So people thought that it was a very nice high-end smell. They thought it was likable. Who doesn't like you smelling clean? I mean, we all like to smell clean, but it did smell sophisticated. Once you tell people about the price of something like this, that frightens them away. Just to smell clean to a lot of people, and I felt the same way, it's awfully expensive. So what are my final thoughts? And we talked about the price. This is a 50 ml here. I'm not sure if they make the 100 ml, but I think this is a little bit more reasonable. But if you buy, the full size, bottle, these are $450 odd, or sometimes more, depending on which one it is. Sometimes a little less. And that makes this a very expensive niche fragrance for what it is. Very expensive indeed. And for a soapy clean fragrance, this I cannot recommend. I want to recommend it. I do think the presentation is nice. I do have to be honest that I'm not personally blown away. I've seen Roger Dove presentations, and some people felt like that this stole perhaps from that style. Maison Francis Kurkdjian. I'm not trying to accuse them of this coming out of the same factory, but it might be the case with the bottles. I mean, the bottles, to me, this isn't terribly unique for this house. It does look nice. Are these crystals here? I don't know if they're real crystals or not. I kind of doubt it, but it is nice. I mean, look at the cap. The cap is very tight. You could pick it up and hold it. The cap does have some weight and some metal to it, and because it's so snug, I'll show you real quick. You wouldn't want to do this, but it'll stay on. It's not going to slip out of your hands if you pick it up by the cap, but never recommended here since our fragrance channel. So, what is this fragrance ultimately? What else can I say about it? It's clean, it's pristine. I would have liked the cardamom to come out and be much more sensual. I would have either liked this fragrance to be more animalic with more styrax, or I would have liked it to become more creamy and smooth and velvety with lots of high quality benzoin. I think either direction, or maybe going animalic and sweet, creamy, would have either of those or both would have been a lot of fun to this fragrance. Again, I think the name is misleading. Oud Bleu Intense. I can see where it's very, I guess you could say, calming, like a blue sky. So they're going to that like meditative, pristine kind of place with this fragrance. I just don't think the name connects much to a story, and I don't think it's going to connect to most people with this name of this fragrance. So I think the name is a miss, and I also think the fragrance is not. It doesn't take enough risk. It's too safe, and not every fragrance has to be very risky. Like if y'all know and paid attention to some earlier videos, I was very impressed by Corpse Survivor by Bruno Fazzolari. I mean, that's an animalic fragrance, and I'm not trying to say that every fragrance needs to be a risky, strange fragrance, but this one could have used something to either make it more mass appealing or more strange. It's kind of in the middle where it's a little bit sour, but clean and likable, but it doesn't do anything special. So what could I recommend? I'm going to give you some alternatives. I do this with sometimes, especially, some people, because I'm reviewing so many niche fragrances, you might think that I've forgotten or have forsaken, that I don't care about the designers anymore. I do. I sincerely care about designer fragrances, and here's another way I'm going to prove it to you. For the money, the average Joe would be very happy, and very, very happy with Dunhill Century. Go check it out. It's absolutely worth your money. It flew under the radar for a soapy, clean fragrance that has class. And actually, the bottle is pretty nice, too. I think some of y'all might actually think the bottle on the Dunhill Century is the better fragrance than this. You wouldn't be disappointed, I promise. Go check that one out. I don't know if you can find them as cheap as when I found it, but it was like $35 odd, or 30, even cheaper sometimes, $30. And I think it's a 4.2 ounce or 4.5 ounce. It's a little bit bigger than even the normal big. It's a little bit extra. Absolute bang on value for money, worth every penny. A great value. You can also get Prada L'Homme Eau. The Eau version is extra clean and extra fresh, and I feel like that one's even more mass appealing than this. Is it as complex? Does it have some of the high quality notes that go into this fragrance? not the average person isn't going to maybe pay attention to some of the nuances in this fragrance. And honestly, it's probably more likable, and it's much more available and much more affordable to the average person who's likely to want to buy fragrances from an online retailer. That fragrance is being taken away, or probably, it's a flanker. It's probably not going to be around forever. So I don't know if that one's going to be your local mall, but keep an eye out. For Prada, let OMO, if you're a TJ Maxx or Ross buyer, anything like that. If you want a clean, pristine fragrance, it's worth it. And I know I'm taking a lot of your time probably, so I'm going to rush to the end. But the last fragrance I want to recommend is Oud Supremacy in Heaven. If you want a creamy, metallic kind of fragrance with sandalwood, kind of like Silver Mountain Water, with the inkiness taken away, it's fantastic. And the longevity, if you want performance and longevity, it's going to last on you. Oud Supremacy in Heaven is like a 10-hour plus fragrance. So no doubt about the performance there. So again, I don't know why they went so incense heavy. Fragrance du Bois, I don't know why you did this. I don't want to beat up on the company. I do think their Oud Noir Intense is one of the best gentlemanly fragrances I've ever smelled for a refined, well-to-do gentleman. Probably has a little bit of extra money in his pocket. And I do want to get my hands on the Oud, the orange fragrance, Orange Oud. So I do want to try out explore this house a little bit more, but I simply, can't recommend this one unless you have a lot of money to just smell clean. I mean, you want maybe the fanciest clean fragrance out there, but again, but you don't want it risky either. But you like incense. Anyways, let me know what you think about this fragrance below. How do you feel about it? Is it worth the money? Do you like Fragrance du Bois? Do you think they're too expensive? Do you think they're junk? Or do you think that they're worth every penny, that they're the pinnacle of luxury, as they would like you to think? Let me know in that comment section below. Again, I upload Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays for your pleasure. And I would love to see you in the next fragrance review. Again, let me know how you feel about my content. I would love to be your friend and help you on your fragrance journey to help you find your next beautiful 10 out of 10 masterpiece fragrance. Understand the world of fragrance and have a good time. That's what my channel is all about. So hopefully you join me down below, subscribe and like and all that good stuff. And I'll see you soon, everybody. Have a beautiful day. Smell amazing. I'll see you soon, everybody. Peace out and bye.